Hey everyone, so in today's lesson, we are going to lesson 1-5. In this lesson, we are going to be evaluating expressions. So our objectives are to evaluate given expressions, to explain the process we use when evaluating an expression. Our language objectives is always in our own words. So let's take a look at our do now. Okay, so let's take a look at our do now for today. And our do now is asking us to simplify the following, simplify each. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to pause the video and let's see if you remember how to do these two questions. So pause the video and try it out on your own. Okay, so what you should have got for number 1 is 3a minus 10. And let's take a look why. I highlighted the distribution, so there was distribution going on first. That's what you had to do. Once you distribute, then you're at the point of combining any like terms. So you must combine it. And we always want our answer written in standard form, which means that the variable with the highest exponent comes first. But in this case, there's only one variable, so that is why we wrote the a term first. For number 2, a little more challenging because we had a double distribution here. There is an invisible -1 being distributed to the second parentheses. We distribute first, just like before, and then at this point, we are combining like terms, and we always want, again, our answer written in standard form. So the variable term must come first. Okay, so now that we review that, let's look at our thinking for today, and what we are going to be doing is we are going to learn how do we evaluate a given expression. So let's just review what an algebraic expression is again. An algebraic expression is a mathematical phrase that contains variables, numbers, and or operation symbols. So what do the following algebraic expressions tell us? So when we look at an algebraic expression, we need to kind of understand what operation is being done. Are we adding, subtracting, multiplying? Are we dividing? Is there a degree that we are dealing with? So are we dealing with exponents? All of that is stuff that I need to kind of think about. So here are 3 quick examples. Let's say I gave you 8n. If I gave you an 8n, we already know this is an algebraic expression, but what is this telling us? This is telling us to multiply 8 times n. So when I see that, I should be thinking, oh, 8n really means 8 times n. Let's look at the second one. So we got 3x plus 4. So again, I'm thinking, what does this tell me? What's happening? The 3x is telling us that we're going to be multiplying 3 times x first. So I do 3 times x, and then I end up adding 4. So that's the process of what has happened to that algebraic expression. Let's look at one more. Let's say I gave you a 9y minus 5. So in this case, what this algebraic expression is telling us is that we are multiplying the 9 times y first, and then we are subtracting 5. What we are always thinking when we're looking at algebraic expressions is what is going on. And that is what's going to help us in our problems of today. So let's take a quick look at what we're doing. Let's start with example 1. For example 1, what we are asked to do is we're asked to evaluate. So we want to evaluate each algebraic expression. So let me read number 1. Evaluate the following algebraic expression, and they gave us the algebraic expression to be 4x minus 7. And they're telling us that x is going to be equal to 5. So right now I have an algebraic expression. The given algebraic expression is 4x minus 7. When they give me an x value, what that is telling us to do is wherever you see an x on your algebraic expression, you're going to replace it. So let's do that. We have 4. Again, what does that 4x mean? That means 4 times x. So I'm going to be replacing this 5 with the x. Okay, so now I have 4 times x, but now we know our x. Our x is 5 minus 7. If I have a calculator, I could do this on my calculator. If I don't, then I will need to show more work. I am going to show my work, and then I'm going to show you how awesome the calculator is. So if I'm showing my work, as far as order of operations goes, we want to do multiplication first. So we're doing 4 times 5. That's 20. And then I'm going to drop down that minus 7. And then I'm going to evaluate one more time. So I have 20 minus 7 is equal to 13. And there's my final answer. Now, if I had a calculator, I'm going to show you how much less work you're going to end up doing if you do. Okay, so I took out my calculator. It's here. If I was doing this on the calculator, what I would do is I'm going to do this piece right here. So I'm going to do 4 parentheses, 5, close the parentheses exactly as I wrote it, and then we have a minus 7. If I press enter, I better get that 13 that I got showing my work. But if I have a calculator, I don't need to show the in-between. I go straight to my answer. So let's look at number 2, and I'm going to use my calculator as well. All right, so for number 2, first things first, it says determine the value of negative x to the third power plus 2x. And they're telling me when x is equal to negative 2. So again, I have an algebraic expression. My algebraic expression is negative x cubed, or to the third power, plus 2x. Now, what this x equals negative 2 is telling me to do is go to my algebraic expression and find all my x's. So I'm finding all of my x's. I have 2 of them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite everything, but I'm going to change those x's. So I have negative 1 times x to the third power. But what is x? X is negative 2 plus 2 times x. Again, what is x? X is negative 2. So the first thing you always want to do is replace all of your variables. Now, if you have a calculator, again, all you're going to do is input this on the calculator. If you don't, you will have to definitely use order of operations, and this is a tricky one. So I'm going to do it on my calculator. I have negative. The negative is right here, right under ANS, answer. Parentheses, negative 2, close the parentheses, raised to the third power. So the exponent you get by putting this little arrow right here, that brings my exponent up. My exponent is 3. And now I have to press the arrow so I could bring it back down. Plus 2, parentheses, negative 2. Close the parentheses. Enter, and my answer is 4. So if I have a calculator, that's literally all the work I have to use. But if I don't have a calculator, here's the extra steps. First thing I would need to do is my exponent piece. I would write negative. Now I have negative 2 to the third power. Negative 2 to the third power is negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2. Since I have my calculator here, I'm just going to do that. Negative 2 to the third power. That gives me a value of negative 8. Plus 2 times negative 2. Then what do you need to do? What you need to do is multiplication or division. So I have a multiplication here, and I actually have another multiplication right here. So I have negative 1 times negative 8 gives me an 8. Positive 2 times negative 2 gives me a negative 4. And finally, 8 minus 4, we all know is 4. But honestly, guys, if I don't want to do all that extra work because I might mess it up, I'd rather put this into my calculator. For number 3, evaluate the following algebraic expression. We have 3 times x minus 2 to the third power plus x, and they're telling me when x is equal to 4. So again, first things first, let me rewrite my expression. Next thing, I'm going to highlight all of my x's. When I'm identifying how many x's I have, it's helping me because I know I need to replace all of those x's with that 4. So I have 3 times 4 minus 2 to the third power plus 4. So if you want, you could do this using order of operations. But again, I have a calculator, so I'm going to use it. So I'm going to do, we got 3 parentheses, 4 minus 2. Close the parentheses. Raise to the third power. Bring this down. Plus 4. enter. So my answer is 28. Let's try the last one. So we have evaluate the following, and this time they gave me a division one. Okay, great. We got 2 times x plus 8 divided by 3. That's our expression. And they say when x is equal to -2. First thing I always do is I rewrite the problem. I'm going to identify all of my x's. I only have one in this case. And why am I doing that? Because I want to replace those x's. So I get 2 times -2 plus 8 all divided by 3. So here is how this would look on the calculator. I have 2 times -2 plus 8, close my parentheses. So that's my numerator. Since I have a numerator and denominator, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do divided by 3 right away. I'm going to press enter and then do divided by 3, 4. So let's look at the next page. Here are the more challenging types of questions. Same kind of process. We're finding or evaluating our algebraic expressions, but this is a little more complex. So let's take a look. Number 1, evaluate the following algebraic expressions. This is my expression, and this time they gave me a y and a k. So I have 2 values I'm replacing, the y's and also the k's. So first things first, rewrite my problem. Next thing you want to do is identify the y's. So I did y in orange. I'll do y in orange here. There's only one y. And then identify the k's. There's only one k. So wherever I see that orange piece, I'm replacing it with that -2. Wherever I see the k or the green piece, I'm going to replace it by 1. That's what I would get if I replace. Again, I'm going to bring my handy dandy calculator because why not use it if I invested in it? So I would do negative. Again, the negative is right down here. 5 parentheses, -2 parentheses, raised to the exponent of 3. When I put an exponent, I must bring it back down if I'm doing plus or minus. So plus 6 times 1. And my answer is 46. Let's try number 2. All right, so for number 2, what we are doing is they gave me my algebraic expression. I'm just going to highlight it. They gave me 2 values, a k this time and an h. I'm going to start off by rewriting. Now I'm going to highlight my k right here and my h right here. Now that I highlighted, now that I know that's where they are, I'm going to replace. And at this point, I replaced everything. I substituted everything. I'm going to use my calculator. So I have 6 parentheses, 6 minus 3, close it up, raised to the second power. Since I have an exponent, I must bring it down, plus 5 parentheses times, right, -5. Enter. My answer is a 29. All right, so for number 3, our expression they gave us, looking more and more complex as I'm moving down. They gave me a variable of c and a variable of x. First thing you want to do is rewrite. Next thing you want to do is highlight your variables. So I have the c and the x. I like color coding it. It just makes it stand out that much more. I'm going to now replace or substitute. Okay, so I substituted, and now I'm going to use my calculator. Again, when I have a fraction, I want to do things slightly different than I would just by inputting everything. So what I'm going to do is the first piece in my calculator, 8 times 4. Enter. That gives me a 32. Plus. So here's where I'm going to have to break down just a little bit because I don't want to mess things up. I'm going to do the fraction piece, which is 20 minus 2. I'm going to press enter because I have a fraction. I'm going to press enter for the numerator and then divide it by 3, giving me a value of 6. And now I'm going to add those two things up. So 32 plus 6, if you need your calculator, go for it. It is a value of 38. Last 2, I believe. So we have an algebraic expression. Again, getting more and more complex as I'm moving along. They gave me now 3 variables. We got an A, B, and the C. So I'm going to start with step 1, which is rewrite the original algebraic expression. Next thing I'm going to do is highlight all of my variables. So I have an A here. Do I have any other A? No. I have a B here. Do I have any other B? Yes. And I have a C here, and I don't have it anywhere else. So I'm going to go based on my colors. So now I'm ready to go. Again, I have a fraction here. There's a fraction going on at the very end. So I'm going to take this one step at a time. I'm going to start off by multiplying 4 times 2. So let's say, I forgot what that is. I'm just going to put it in my calculator. I get a value of 8. There's my first piece. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply negative 3 times 5. So we got negative 15 or minus 15. Now I'm going to do the fraction piece. So for the fraction piece here, I'm doing 2 parentheses, 3 or 2 times 3 plus 3. Numerator, I press enter. I got a 9. So I have plus 9 divided by 8 times 5 is 40. So now I'm going to add all of this up. So 8 minus 15 plus, in parentheses, I'm going to put the whole fraction, parentheses, 9 divided by 40. Close it up and press enter. And this is the number I get. Do not give us any decimals. What you want to do is you want to always have a simplified fraction. So the calculator is awesome because this calculator could hook it up with simplifying your fractions. And how are you going to do that? You're going to go to math. Here's math. And I want to change this fraction. So I'm going to press frac, just enter. Now I'm going to press enter again. And the calculator gives me my fraction value. So this is equal to negative 271 over 40. Okay, last one. For number 5, we have our algebraic expression. Again, got very complex, it looks like. We have our A, B, and the C. Next thing you're going to do is identify the variables. So I like color coding. It makes it, again, easier for it to stand out. So that's just me. So now I'm going to replace. All right, so I replaced everything. I like problems that I don't have fractions in because all I'm going to do is input everything exactly as I set it up in my calculator, press enter, and calculator's hooking it up for me. I don't need to do much thinking here. So let's do this. We got 5 parentheses 3 parentheses 7, another parentheses 2. Close it up, minus 9 times 5 or parentheses 5. Close it up. Make sure those parentheses are open, close. When you open one, you close one as well. And I'm just inputting everything I'm seeing here, raised to the second power. So there is my long algebraic expression. And I'm going to press enter, and it's going to give me my value of negative 426. So our quick summary, when asked to evaluate an algebraic expression, you need to substitute, which means replace, the given value or values for the variables or variable, and the result is a numeric expression. No more variables. So when I substitute, I better not see an answer with an A, a B, or C. Your answer is a number now, known as a numeric expression. We need to follow the order of operations when asked to evaluate an algebraic expression. That is our process. But again, if we have a calculator, I'm strongly encouraging you guys all to input this onto your calculator. I will see you in our next video, and keep learning, keep growing.